How long did it take you to become consistently profitable? Um, that's a tough question because I every time I kind of reset my mindset, I look at it as a fresh start. So like I like to say like a year and a half, but it was probably a bit longer. I say a year and a half after I got serious. A year and a half after I got serious, and even that it was probably less than that actually. One of the thing is, and I still have trouble. I don't like calling myself successful now, just because mentally I never wanted to settle, and I believe that once you kind of call yourself successful, you kind of can settle into success. I don't want to do that. I wanted to see. I was probably successful, consistently profitable about 6 months before I was willing to actually call myself successful. But I just didn't believe it. 'Cause I know that you can, again, I just told you a story. I had a 2 month hot streak and then blew it all. Right? So I never really wanted to say if I had 2 straight months of profitability, is that successful? For me, it wasn't because I can give it back. If I had 3 months, was that successful? No. If I had 6 months, in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, 6 months is if you're consistently profitable for a half a year, obviously you can still blow anything at any time. I know someone that was successful for 5 years and blew her account. It just went off the tracks, went off the rails. It was very scary. But I was probably consistently profitable for about anywhere between. I probably waited about 6 months after I was consistently profitable to actually admit that I was consistently profitable. So I don't really know. I like saying a year and a half. But there was a time before that when I was just being dumb, but I wasn't on the right track. So does that really count as a trading journey? I wasn't really doing anything. I was just gambling. And then there was that time where I was probably consistently profitable, but I was too scared to admit it because I feared the worst case scenario. So a year and a half, I guess, to give you kind of an easy answer, but it's rangy on both ends. It's rangy on both ends. What did you struggle with, Akil? Why'd you have to keep resetting? Oh, I had no direction. I was just going into the market doing random stuff. So imagine normal rookie trader out there. ECB press conference starting in 6 minutes, by the way. I was just random book, random YouTube video, whatever I learned at the time, I'd go in and start doing. I was just gambling. Like I didn't know what trading was. I was unconsciously incompetent. I was just a baby, just in the market clicking buttons, drawing support and resistance on lines from different time frames, like 15 indicators. I didn't know what I was doing. And then every time I would learn something else, I'd be like, okay, no more trend lines, pivot points. I would say that was a reset. And I'd be like, okay, this is it. This is the new beginning, right? It's like, you ever play a video game and you get stuck and you just restart the whole thing? You just restart the level, you quit and go back. It was kind of like that. Where I'm halfway through the game, I get to this section, I get stuck. I'm just going to start over. I'm going to start over because this time, I'm going to find this and that's going to help me get past the boss. And I get stuck at the same place. Okay, no, I'm start over. Okay, new life. Okay, this time we're going to upgrade to this, right? And I would do that over and over again. So those were my mental restarts. And then, I mean, even after getting coaching, I had restarts as well. I had about 6 months of coaching, and I was still doing dumb stuff. And I restarted after that because I realized like I wasn't actually following what my coaches were telling me. Right, my coach laid out the plan for me to be successful, and I just wasn't doing it. It was funny. I was listening to a Jason Greystone podcast the other day. I've been going back through all of them this December as one of my continued education projects, and he was talking about how he's read so many books on successful people. And if you just follow what the right in general, and it's just funny, right? All right, so the best way to be successful is by mentorship, right? People don't like hearing that because whenever mentors say that, they say, oh, of course you would say that because you're a coach and you make money coaching people. But you're stupid if you don't think that way. Stupid, again, 2 O's, right? The best way to become successful is to find someone in your field. I guess that's the best way, I guess. Find someone in your field that has become successful and copy them. Right? People that have become successful in your field they literally have a blueprint on what it takes. And that blueprint is from all the dumb stuff they did. right? One of the reasons I'm a good coach is because of the stories I just told you. I did a lot of dumb stuff and I learned from it. So I can tell you what dumb stuff not to do. That'd be the name of my book. Don't do this dumb stuff. Right? And Nick said, yeah, you gotta let go of your ego. People don't like, and people are stubborn, egotistic. They don't like mentorship. But in general, the best way to become successful is mentorship. That's what got me into investing in the first place. Right? So Jason Greystone in his podcast was talking about, he's read so many books on success and entrepreneurship that he truly believes if you just read these books and you just do everything that they tell you to do, you will become successful. You will become a millionaire, right? Or whatever success means to you. The problem is, right? What do you think is the problem? If the blueprint is there for you, and in this day and age with the internet, there's no excuse for not finding out how to be successful. It's not like, gosh, it's amazing how much is out there. Like growing up, I didn't have these entrepreneurs with YouTube channels and Twitter sharing their techniques. Like that didn't exist. You had to actually know someone, right? You had to actually know someone that knew someone. So it made it a little bit harder because if you're not in that circle, it's hard to get in that circle. These days, I can click on YouTube and find anything I want. It's stupid how easy it is. But how come more people aren't doing it? Well, because the action, right? The action is the tough part. People have to take action. It's no different than a diet, right? Man, I want to drop these pounds. What should I do? Here's a plan on how to do it. Again, you can go on the internet. You can find millions of them, right? There's no excuse for not finding a plan. The hard part is, right, actually doing it. Actually saying no to that chocolate cake at night. Same thing with building muscle mass, right? Training for a marathon, right? It's all there. The hard part is doing it. And that's why people don't become successful, because they just don't do it. And so I was doing the same thing. I paid for a coaching program, and I just wasn't following what my coach was saying, and I wasn't successful. And eventually I restarted, and I said, this time I'm going to follow exactly what he says. And guess what happened, right? Lo and behold, what do you know? You don't say, right? I became successful. So I had that stupid period as well. Many of you guys have been through that. I've spoken to many of you guys on the platform. I've listened to all of the accountability sessions. I can't tell you how many people, if you've listened to the accountability sessions, have come in and said, yeah, I've been here like 6 months, but like the first 3 months, I didn't really do what I was supposed to do. It's like 1 out of 2 say that. I've been here for like a year, but like the first 9 months, I was kind of just doing my own thing. I wasn't really in the live rooms or talking on the chat to people. And like, yeah, I started doing that over the last 3 months, and I can see the difference. Well, you don't say. So it's, it is what it is. George said they don't actually tell you specific details on what to do. It's all general ideas, principle. That's the problem I find. That's an excuse. that is an excuse. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You read enough books, take in enough content, they'll tell you exactly what to do. Understand that what you're trying to be successful in could be different from what they're trying to be successful in. So they can't necessarily be specific about your journey because you are different. You come from a different place, you're in a different place, you want to do a different thing. Don't use the general as an excuse. That's just an excuse in my opinion. You can't be like, well, they didn't tell me specifically what to do on each day of every second. Like, no one's going to do that. Everyone's different. The content wouldn't reach anyone. Right? Think about my trading day. If I gave you a book on what to specifically do at each minute of my trading day, it wouldn't work for everyone. Why? Because we're from all around the world. If I said, hey, you guys, you got to do technical analysis at 10 p.m., you guys in the UK are like, no. It's like 3 a.m, Akil. Not doing it. Right? Same thing with, I always talk about the London session, right? The ideal period that I would love to trade is that London Open. But I ain't waking up 3 o'clock in the morning. That ain't happening. So it's your job. You can't expect, it goes right under taking action. You can't expect to sit there and have everything just fed to you. You can't expect to sit there, have servants come out with grapes and then just put it into your mouth and then move your head and chew for you. No. Their job is to give you the ingredients. Here are the ingredients. When you go to the store, buy this. Here's what you do with it. Now go cook it. Go cook it. Grapes are nice, yeah. And I may or may not have one of my servants, my kids, come in and feed me grapes during the breaks. May or may not be true. But they're my kids. I can do what I want with them. But yeah, so I get the point where everyone wants to be, you should be super, super specific. But if you read enough, they'll tell you. It's just like these personal finance books. They tell you. And general is good enough. General is good enough. If you want something specifically geared to you, you've got to find a personal coach. Find someone that's going to do a one-on-one coaching or mentorship with you, because that's what they get paid for. Now, I can tell you what. You're going to have to pay for it. Right? People ask me about personal coaching all the time. Akil, can we have a one-on-one session where you sit down with me? Yeah, we could. Do you know how much it's going to cost? Yeah. So if you want something like that, you'll have to pay for it. But there's enough free stuff out there. There's enough free stuff out there, in my opinion, that there's still no excuse. And you've got to be willing to cook the dish, connect the dots yourself. Just heard a fact yesterday. There's more information made every 2 days now than there was between the dawn of time and 2003. Gosh, the dawn of time. Sheesh. I mean, you're right. Think about how many, I forgot the stats, how many YouTube videos are made like per minute. How much content on Twitter is made per second. I think I just saw something, Jason Stapleton, I caught the end of it, something about a challenge to put out like a piece of content every day or something like that. And a Gary Vee puts out like 100 every day across different platforms. Yeah, it's crazy. Joe says, was your back testing at this point, or did you just skip that part? No, I back tested correctly. I didn't back test the way I should have. I back tested with the intentions of only getting the answer. So I didn't really care about like maximizing the strategy or like different entries, stops, targets, any of that stuff. I just wanted to prove that it worked. I looked at back testing as a chore. I just did it because I was told I had to complete it before doing it. Now, there were times before where I didn't backtest, of course. There was a long time before I didn't backtest. But even after I was trained and was told to backtest, I didn't do it necessarily the first time the correct way. I just did it to get the answer. So I didn't change anything. I did it how it was laid out, and just I didn't even really analyze the numbers. I just looked in the profit and loss column and said, okay, was it profitable? Yes, okay, we'll trade it. Because it was just kind of a means to an end. Like I had to do it to check it off the box. So that was also a mistake. Doesn't matter how many resources you have, if you don't know how to use them, there will never be enough. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, back testing is a learning process in its own right. It's the most important thing you can do for that belief system, trading psychology. It is the most important thing, if you approach it that way. Whew. What a first session, man. You guys want a break? I think Chris said it earlier. We'll get some good podcast content out of this.